Hello, how are we doing, people? I'm back. I'm not fully set up. I am not quite there yet, but yeah, it's been this computer has been through a lot recently, like mad amounts recently. Like I've literally just got done wiping the whole system. It's this one other, which is one other tab, which is Canva for my backgrounds and all of my other thumbnails and picturey stuff, and then one or two other apps on this computer, and that is it. Like everything else is gone. It is all done and dusted. And to be fair, though, it's given this PC a new lease of life. So it actually goes quick now. Still doesn't change the fact that it's still only got 8 gigabytes of RAM installed into it, which most people have like 32 upwards. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind everybody in the capabilities department, but nonetheless, this is still a functional thing. This still works perfectly fine, and we shall roll with them punches. But how's everybody doing? It is Wednesday, and weirdly enough, there's just a single Premier League game being played tonight. Don't know why it's just the one. Actually, no, I do know why it's just a one, because it's the scheduled game in hand that Newcastle still have due. So yeah, that's happening tonight. So if you fancy your Premier League action alternatively to your Champions League, then yeah, you're spoilt for choice. Well, not really spoilt, but still. For Thursday, you're not spoiled for Thursday night. You're, well, it depends on which way you look at spoiled. You know, spoiled as in, well, tonight you're spoiled because there's plenty of options to choose from. Yeah, everything's all good. Yeah, lots of different things that can please you. Tomorrow night you're spoiled because you were going to have a good evening, and then you put the football on, and then you remembered why you were depressed and you were crushed by the big sad, and ultimately you end up wallowing in self-pity and hatred after watching two teams try to play some football, which is kind of the Europa League at the moment. Man United, Lyon, Tottenham, Frankfurt, Bodo Glimt, Lazio. I mean, Bodo Glimt with advantage over Lazio is just ridiculous. It's just crazy. I don't know why Bodo Glimt. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Bodo Glimt could actually end up being finalists at this rate. Like, it's genuinely weird just how it's all going down. I don't understand why that is the case, but Athletic Bilbao, at least, are probably the only team in the Europa League at the moment that seem to actually look like favourites to win it. So yeah, it'll probably be a competition wrapped up nice and easily in the final. Their own stadium, the San Mamés, I think it's called, is where the final is going to be held. And yeah, that's basically a home game for them because that's where they play. And it's not very much of a European conquest as such. The conquesting happened beforehand. They all just came home and started celebrating before a ball's been kicked in the final because they are as good as champions at that point. So yeah, let's put it as bluntly as possible, is no matter which way we look at it, whether United get through to the final, Bilbao will probably be there. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I think we might be playing, if we do win tonight, the semi-finals, we will play Bilbao. So either which way, if United get through to the final, then the favourites will have gone. They would have been dispatched. Although, to be honest, the other options don't favour Manchester United any better. However, never say never, because every time we predict United to really lose badly, get destroyed, and get absolutely eviscerated, they somehow pull something out of. I don't want to say out the hat. Let's just say out their arse. They pull something out their arse. Feels like they play with something stuck up their asses most of the time, anyways. But the the complexion for this game tonight is one that we find ourselves in a very unsatisfactory position, because we should be, with all things considered, 1 goal's advantage to the good, right? Or if Onana really had a splendid first leg, we would be sat with perhaps a 2 goal cushion. A 2 goal cushion, which, 2-0's a dangerous scoreline. Yeah, okay, it is. But it's not like you're going to the second half from a first half 2-0 lead. It's a full 90 minutes. It's a completely different game as well, because the game plans will shift. But we are not looking at this from a 2-0 or even a 1 goal advantage. We are looking at it from a level playing field. But the problem is that we are stuck with the goalkeeping selection predicament. That is, what do you do with the goalkeepers? Because, as we know, we could be knocked out of this tie because of Andre Onana. Alternatively, with the Premier League game, the game result did not say that Bayern was to blame for the result, but he was at fault for a goal. So there's 2 goalkeepers that more or less are doing along the same lines of the same thing. So we don't really have an option where it's like we can trust this option, we can trust this choice. For me, I would still go with Bayern here. I'd still go with Bayern here, just simply because we've had way longer of Onana doing this than we've had Bayern doing this. Even if they do seemingly do the same thing in training, I'm much more likely to believe that, given a few run of games. For Bayern, he could, we could see something. We could see something there, and I'd be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'd want to give him the opportunity to show us what he is fully capable of. And because the season's pretty much dead at this point, if we go out tonight, just play Bayern for the rest of the season and just see what he does with a run of games. Because you get to the summer, ultimately, you can have your mind made up that Onana definitely has got to go. But then you've got your second goalkeeper, which you can decide, is he really good enough for us, or do we need to, explore our options again? I just think it's a practical thing to do. It's not the sort of thing that I think, Amarim would really like to be doing. But then again, he probably would be able to take stock of the situation and just sort of see it for what it is, really. But yeah, it's not a handy position to be in. But yeah, it's I'm sure that definitely over the next month or so, we'll definitely have way more clarity on what we really want. Oh, good God. Hello, Fuzzy. Oh, I got to do this in a down under voice, didn't I? Hello, Fuzzy, you prick. How you doing, mate? The Hotspur hippie, the female version. Wallaby, would you look at that? All the football fans are pricks. Yeah. I'm very much aware of the Hotspur hippie. Big ups to the female version. I'm very much aware of the Hotspur hippie, and I think a slightly less than satiable mood or feeling towards him at the moment. So all the football fans are toxic. There's a mole in the fan base. There's a mole in the fan base, and Big Ann says so. So it's definitely true. all of them can go F themselves, go fuck themselves. Absolutely. Absolutely must go fuck ourselves. Tottenham fans are a bunch of C's. See you next Tuesdays. Yeah. God. I'll have to see how this this whole shebang, this powwow, is progresses, because I'm sure that all has not been totally all said and done as of yet. So we'll see. We'll see more to this as time goes on. I ain't got a clue how to support a club. Yes, only you know. Only the Hotspur hippie knows. What's married? What's married life like? Female Hotspur hippie version. What is it like? Should stick behind club through thick and thin, even relegation. Wow. Of course, we'll still be here. We'll still be here in even if we are a championship club. I suppose it does make Wednesdays a predicament. You know, the good, the bad, season 3 of the good, the bad, but now the relegated. Not to say that we'll be relegated this season. I don't think we'll be relegated this season. About 18 points. 18 points. I mean, is it 18 points? Yes, it is 18 points, isn't it? But yeah, 18 points. However, must be said that doesn't write home that we are safe from that predicament next season, especially having to trust a board that don't really know what it's doing, as well as players that don't really know where they want to be. I mean, we've got stories about Rashford and the way in which it's been written up is like it's a love letter fest thing. Like, oh, Rashford, my beloved, come home. Our prodigal son, the child that we regret disowning. It's like, come on. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. Marcus Rashford, he's changed the scenery, right? He's changed the scenery and should opt to stick to that changed scenery rather than find his way back to Manchester United, because that means we just go backwards. We go back to something that wasn't working and ultimately say, well, it's okay. It's okay because he's Manc born and bred. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. He's Manc born and bred. He earns £300,000+ a week. So he can go back to stinking it up on the football pitch because he's not pressured to achieve. That's what we have at United. You're not pressured to achieve. We've just got a manager that every time somebody deliberately tries to not achieve, he gets rid of you. He does. He gets rid of you. He removes you from the setup. But was your husband? Did your husband? Was your husband Ange out? Was your husband Big Ange out by any chance? Oh God. But yeah, it's just the rest of the season, as of right now, is just we're just in limbo. Like for the rest of the season, we need this Europa League to give ourselves meaning for this season, because otherwise we don't have a purpose all the way until the next season kicks off, before we have to find ourselves again and actually make something of next season. But we can't sit here right now and say that anything for the next several years is going to be anything special, because nobody's actually singing the right tune and is making progressive steps in the right direction. Ultimately, we are just saying things. It's saying a whole lot of things, but also saying nothing at the same time, which is not something you want to be doing as a football club of Manchester United size in the year 2024. Because this season, where everybody else seems to be, on the lowdown, not really achieving to the levels they should be, aka Manchester City, they should be right at the very, very top of the Premier League. They're not. Chelsea could be doing better. Probably should be doing better with the quality of players they've got in the team. And Tottenham should be doing way better. Arsenal just are switching off and on, which is not a healthy. It's not a healthy thing for a football club to be doing. You should be switching it on and keeping it on 24/7. It's so much so that Newcastle, punching above their weight, is comfortably nestling itself into that picture. Nottingham Forest, with some counter-attack football, is finding itself in a very lucrative position. Aston Villa are working something out. They've just got knocked out of Champions League, but still beat PSG at their home ground. So they've still got, a bit of potential there. They've still got the ability to do something. And I suppose another summer transfer window of really, solidifying themselves as a team. I think they'll be writing up for next season as a season of potential. Definitely a season of potential. But yeah, there's a lot of underachievers in this Premier League season, a lot, and we none more so than us. So it's difficult. If you can't sing Glory Korea as good as me, you're a bunch of miserable souls. Bloody hell. Bit angry. It's like the angry version of Carl Pilkington. Maybe that's what Hotspur Hippie is, though, to be fair. Maybe he is just the angry version of Carl Pilkington, and we just haven't connected the dots yet. Maybe that's what's going on here. Can't say whether it is or it isn't, but just complaining about everything. Feels like it. Definitely feels like it. However, we do have a couple of predicted lineups for tonight, and I'm just going to sort of go through what I think about those predicted lineups and whether I would make any changes to what the suggestions have been listed out here. Of course, one or two changes I would like to make we can't make because of injury reasons, which sucks. Now Xerxes out for effectively the rest of the season. Matthias de Ligt is still not back yet, which means that his not to be concerned about anything type injury is not actually a small matter, but actually they downplayed it. So it's actually a little bit worse for wear than it actually is perceived to be. The good news is also is that Diallo is back on grass. He's on grass. He's smoking. He's running on it. He's doing all sorts on it. But no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that our star boy is not too far away from making a return to action, and we do need options available in the attacking departments, as we don't really have anybody, because the genius brains, that is Ineos, decide that, well, we will support the manager in getting rid of the players he does not want, but we will not support him in getting him the players he wants. So we'll just keep slimlining the team down until there's pretty much 2 players to start in 11 positions. So yeah, that sounds like a whole lot of Ineos shit. Forget bullshit. That's just Ineos shit. But the predicted lineups, we'll start with the Lyon side and see what we make of it. So they've got Lucas Perry in goal, Tagliafico, Niakate, Clinton Matter, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles as their back four. So pretty much the same as what we had in the first leg of the fixture. They've run with Tolisso and Matic as the holding midfield. Again, that was the predicted lineup the first time around and ended up being somebody else in midfield. They've got a Georgian player, Mikotadze, I think that is. If I've not pronounced that correctly, then don't kill me. Almada in the right-hand side of the midfield three, with then Cherky hitting in the 10 position, and Lacazette to lead the line. Last time around, of course, Lacazette didn't start; it was somebody else, and neither did Cherky. He came off the bench. But yeah, not a bad team, not a great team as far as quality is concerned. However, as we know, for a team that should be disciplined, should be well prepared, and does actually play some good football, it should be a team that Man United, even on their worst day, should be capable of dispatching. And technically speaking, we technically should have dispatched them on the first leg, but a certain goalkeeper has decided against that. He wanted to go into business for himself, like the undesirable character in a wrestling promotions locker rooms. They want to go and make themselves a superstar, but the establishment and everybody else doesn't want to do that. So yeah, that's kind of the situation we got. But the predicted lineups for Man United are as follows. They've gone with Onana in goal. Possible, but I would personally put Bayindir in there. Lenny Oro, Victor Lindelof and Mazraoui at centre backs. I would not do that. I would not be doing that whatsoever. I'm pretty sure Maguire is available as well. Pretty sure he is. I think he is back. If he is back, then he shall feature. Aiden Heaven, I'm pretty sure featured on the bench against Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check on that. I'm pretty sure he was on the bench against Newcastle. Just want to confirm that. Got Luke Shaw as well. Yeah, he was on the bench as well as Harry Maguire. So yeah, both Aiden Heaven and Harry Maguire both featurable. I don't know about Aiden Heaven being in the Europa League squad though, because I know that Chido Obi is not active in that squad. However, I would definitely take Lindelof out of that, because he's basically just signed, forget a transfer warrant, he's signed his death warrant with that performance against Newcastle. But yeah, Lenny Oro, Mazraoui definitely stay in that team. Take Lindelof out. Aiden Heaven or Harry Maguire really to go in place. Dallo, there's nobody else really to play at the right wing back position. They've gone with Agate and Casemiro as the midfield duo. I could see that, but then also maybe he sticks Mainu in there. Maybe he goes with Fernandez because Mainu is back in the setup. I'd imagine he may start from the bench though, as a way to ease him back into action rather than just throw him into the deep end. Got Patrick Dorgu starting over the left wing back position. Don't have any complaints with that. Garnacho starting at the left side of 10. Again, not really too much in the way of options. Perhaps Mainu is to be used as the substitution to replace him. Again, that has been the case in the previous match. And then Højlund up top is kind of, again, the only option we've got for the Europa League, considering that Xerxes is now injured and Obi Martin's not, or Chido Obi, is not a active player in the Europa League squad. So we've got limited options again up top, but hats off to Glinios for that, because they've absolutely destroyed. They've destroyed any hope that this team has had pretty much for the second half of the season by just, you know what, get everybody out of the team. But we'll just leave it as that. We'll just leave it very threadbare, and then expect the manager to work miracles. Basically, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that team. Whether you guys would make changes about that. But yeah, I'm telling you, you ain't got a clue about football. I may not, but if I don't, then nobody has. You don't know how to support the club. You must get behind the club. You must get behind Maguire. If you ain't behind Maguire, you ain't a real fan, you're an knobhead. Well, I will be a glorified knobhead and say that Maguire should not really continue as a Manchester United player for much longer, because I'm one about progressing a club to a trophy, Premier League, Champions League winning state, and we're not even in the Championship winning state right now. Even if we were to be relegated to that division, I don't see us winning the Championship if we were to be relegated, because the team don't have any mettle about it. They don't have the grit, they don't have determination, they don't have the qualities a team needs to exude to actually achieve anything noteworthy in football. So yeah, I just don't vibe with just aimlessly supporting something that doesn't support me. And people forget this, is that a football club should be a service of a two-way street. The fans support the team rewards the fans with them actually competing, playing football, exciting the fans, giving them something, a reason to believe in them. But what Manchester United has done is it's actually disrespected its fans. The players have disrespected the fans. It's constantly been a tale of backstabbery, betrayal from players to the fans, and people just tell the fans that you're not grateful. You should be supporting them regardless, through thick and thin. And it's like, well, it's kind of like in life, trust is earned, right? Many things in terms of human compassion and relation is earned. It's never given for free. It's never a demanded thing or a demandable thing. So the respect, the trust, the support from fans to players is never a thing that we give it to people on demand. You have to earn it. And as a player, it is your duty to earn the trust and the faith and the support of your fans by showing that you mean business. You don't have to go getting hat tricks every weekend. You just have to turn up, lace up the boots, and look like you're ready for war. Yeah, go out on that pitch and make your presence known. That's all you got to do. You don't have to score goals or get assists or make super saves or make the last ditch tackle. Just show up and be a presence on that pitch. Make yourself accounted for. Make it so that fans want to go, oh, I love that performance. Shall we stop off and get a shirt with his name on the back of it in the superstore afterwards? Something like that. Perhaps you could call it, the makings of a cult hero. Maybe something like that. Get behind the player that is giving you a reason to support him, And I think you'll be onto something. You'll be onto something. But there are players in Manchester United right now that don't do that. They don't warrant that. There's young players that are coming in, not really ever kicked much of a ball comparatively to the older players, and are embarrassing them with how high a level that they are in terms of their professionalism and their application. Maybe they don't have the most amount of quality, but they're applying themselves. Some of the older players, they don't apply themselves. They don't want to apply themselves. They can't be bothered to apply themselves. That's the And people will say, no, they're professional players, they wouldn't not try. Well, you'd be surprised. You really would be surprised, because there's a lot of people that, take things for granted in football. Huge amounts of people. There's a lot of characters, a lot of personalities, a lot of people that are humans. And if you can get humans that play football that are great characters, you'll also get humans that will be that will have shit characters. And that's kind of the way it's sort of gone. The culture's instilled in certain mindsets, that you just don't apply yourself. And the thing is we will say that, this is a lack of intelligence, it's a lack of this, it's a lack of that. But from that, the divergent point from that, or divisive point from that, is that these players can do it. That's the problem, is that I think some of us are fooling ourselves to think that these players are just not capable in any capacity of doing the absolute fundamental basics. But I do believe that most of those players can do the basics. They don't apply themselves enough to execute it. And you'll be surprised at how low a level a player can look when they don't really give everything. Right, and it extends beyond just the actions on a football pitch, but also what goes on in training, what goes on outside of training, the mentality that people adopt, off the pitch as well as on it. All of these factors will play into hand. They all go hand in hand. Players like Victor Lindelof, looking like he's never seen a football before against Newcastle, is not the norm of Victor Lindelof. It's not. I don't think he's mentally applying himself to the situation. I don't think he sees himself actually being the difference maker. He just thinks, oh well, I'll see out this game. No, we don't want you to see out the game. We want you to apply yourself. We want you to make this game, focus on this game, and make this game your life. Right? Your life depends on it. So make it count there, and then you do the same thing for the next game, and then the next, and then the next. Every single game as a professional footballer, you should play as if it is your last. These are non-negotiables, because if the second you take for granted what you have, right, the second you think you've made it, and you turn that dial even by 1%, it's over, finished, goodbye. Right, the same decline that players in their mid to late 30s have. Right, unless you're a freak of nature like Cristiano Ronaldo. Sure, he's had progression, but still goes to another league and still just puts the bags of goals for fun. Right, there will be exceptions to the rule, but the generic player in that stage of their career that experiences the declines, these players are getting to like their mid-20s, and are slowing down and playing with the mindset that a retiree player has. It doesn't work. It doesn't add up. You still, like Victor Lindelof, at the age of 29, I think he's about 29/30. At his age, Victor Lindelof should still have, at the very least, 5 years at the top level in his game before we see a major decline. But because his application mentally is just so off it, right? It looks sluggish on the pitch, right? It looks sluggish. Right? He's not been, I wouldn't say he's been hampered by career altering injuries. Of course, he's had injuries, but not career altering or career defining. Not a sort of level to what Lisandro Martinez is currently serving with. These are little knocks that you miss, little chunks of time, and sometimes they can be aggravated. Sometimes they'll just get a slightly different injury soon after, and it accumulates a bit of missed game time, but it doesn't change the thought process that should be taking front and center stage in how you conduct yourself as a professional, because it's kind of what you live and die by. The people that create legacies in football do so because they live and die by football. But we've got players that don't feel that way. They don't feel that way, don't think that way, don't think it's all that important. I've just got to say, one of which apparently was Lenny Yoro, has basically had a scuffle with Thierry Henry when he criticised Man United players, and Lenny Yoro struck back. It's just like, this criticising is not right, and it's like, well, it shouldn't matter even if he says the most absolutely incredibly brutally unforgivable thing. Shouldn't make it your problem. You should be focusing on being a footballer, not a online debater, not a a therapist or a psychologist and talking about issues. You shouldn't be doing that. Think about being a footballer first. Stay being a young centre back that's trying to, thread his way into elite level football, and just goes to training every day, dreaming of achieving the most craziest things, and goes home every time feeling fulfilled that they've made progress, that they've done something good. And that's basically where you should be staying, mentally at least. Should be staying there, Lenny. So I would highly suggest not paying mind to what pundits say in their criticisms, because a lot of the time, a lot of punditry work will just be to say for effect, say for effect. No real actual sort of constructive element about it. Just you say it because somewhere there you get a bit of a feeling, and then you're just like, yeah, pull the plug on that and go all in. Just let the dam burst and flow. Don't need to do all of that. Don't need to respond to it. Just need to focus on being a footballer. But we've run through the teams. Score prediction. I'm going to go now after the Newcastle game. I was feeling that sort of like lost it. Well, I was going to say lost in the sauce. I don't know what sauce that would be. Probably chili sauce, and it was burning me. But lost in just limbo is what I've said. We just look like we are a club in just limbo state, not really going anywhere, not really achieving anything, not really seeking purpose. So yeah, I think we need to make something of this season, and this is why this game is absolutely must win. We can't afford to lose, can't afford to draw and take the penalties. We need to win, right? I predicted that. I thought after Newcastle that this game was going to be a loss. We're going to lose. We're going to go out with a whimper and prove that the season nobody cares and everybody is just done with football, and that ultimately, we could end up going to a point where we end up fourth from bottom, lowest we've ever finished positionally without getting relegated, lowest points tally ever in Premier League era, and nobody whatsoever sitting here saying the next season will be great, will be way better. I think we all know the truth. It's not going to happen, is it? Next season is going to be long. It's going to be long. Get a fucking work, Fuzzy. I've got work tomorrow, Anthony. I've got work tomorrow. I'll give you what you want. I'll go earn a living. Big ups to you, Anthony. Hope everything's good with you. We've had the Hotspur Hippies female version in here, Anthony. He's saying that anybody that criticizes anybody in football is a knobhead. As a knobhead, is a C word, is a P word, is a toxic, miserable soul. We've had the works. The female Hotspur hippie that ironically looks very much like a Karen in proper Karen hairstyle in the picture. But yeah, bless ups to the female Hotspur hippie parody accounts. I'm working with a Man City fan called Joe. He's a prick. Call him a prick, Fuzz. Well, Joe Mama, Sigma balls, for supporting Manchester City. At first, we had to check to see if you were real, an actual City fan. We called a pastor. We thought we were seeing ghosts. But we gave you a prick and we gave you a pinch. You jolted to both and you brandished your Manchester City shirt. But after all was said and all was done, we all concluded with one final assessment. That Joe, the Man City fan, you are a prick. There you go. And that is that. That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold Fuzzy said so. Now, I suppose as well in the building trade, if anyone's a Manchester City fan, they're used to things being empty, right? They're used to, stadiums being empty. Do you reckon that every single house built by a City fan is unoccupied right now? Do you reckon that there's nobody living in their houses because the attendance is so low? So Manchester is blue. Well, that's a bit weird. Apparently, I heard that a lot of people in Manchester were a bit colourblind, or people who support Manchester clubs are a little bit colourblind. Apparently, a lot of people reporting them saying they see blue, but the psychiatrists and doctors have been saying, no, it's actually red. People see red as blue. yes, it's a struggle. There is a struggle. Conditions like these, it's best we all support each other. We'll work through. We'll push through together. Don't worry. You're not alone, Joe. You're not alone. We sympathise. But yeah, from a standpoint, got hairlights on. Is his surname White by any chance? Joe White, Walter White's long lost brother or distant cousin. But yeah, as far as the score prediction goes, you know what? I was going to say that we'd lose this game. I'm going to go 2-1 United. Just simply because home advantage, whether that really counts for anything this season, but also because the importance of what it means for Man United is just so much higher than what it would mean perhaps for Lyon, because our whole season is defined on what we do in Europa League. But maybe we can't take it for granted. Maybe it's going to end up being just one of those sinking, disappointing nights for United, and we'll just sit in depression. Half the fan base will be booking flights to disappear to remote locations and switching their phones off. You know, like a KG, for example, he tends to like to do that. And expressions from the Tottenham fan base, you know, just book a ticket and disappear, just whilst it all blows over. Furs, he betted me Arsenal will lose on pens, £50. Should I take it? I wouldn't. But one thing I would say, as far as the odds are concerned, in the return leg so far, based off of last night's results, the home sides do make these ties a lot closer than would be comfortable. Way closer, way too close for comfort. So Arsenal, you might have had a scintillating first leg, but watch yourselves. Watch yourselves. Because Madrid, even if they are a wounded animal right now, trust me, they could make something of this. Trust me. If they get an early goal at the Bernabeu, there's only a 2-goal game. Only a 2-goal tie. They've just got to start fast. If they punish you from the get-go, you are up against a dangerous scoreline against Real Madrid in Santiago Bernabeu. If there's one thing you do as Arsenal, don't concede early. Whatever you do, don't concede early. Just slow the game down as much as possible. You know, do the dark arts. Do the dark arts. So much so that no payment from Papa Perez can overrule it. Can outmaneuver the Arsenal dark arts. But yeah. But hey, think of it like this, Anthony. If the dark arts of Arsenal and Arteta can outmaneuver the dark payments of Florentino Perez, maybe he will assume this is his calling. The match made in hell. You know, Florentino Perez and Mikel Arteta. That way, Mikel Arteta will leave your club and go to manage Real Madrid. You can tell he's a Man City fan. He's been laying the bricks upside down. What a prick. I'm pretty sure that as long as you're not laying the bricks like lengthways and doing it that way, it doesn't really matter all that much if they're upside down anyways, because it'll be the same thing anyways. Unless he's building the house upside down and the roof's on the ground and then the front door's on the top, then maybe we can call him a wonder fuzz. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't assume that laying bricks would be upside down would be quite as critical a feat, but who knows? I'm not in the building trade. I don't build the houses. I build cardboard fortresses. That's what I do. I work with cardboards, not with bricks. Just one shower is enough to blow a town away. But yeah. Anyways, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. What your predictions for this game are, what your score predictions are, and who do you think will be the biggest difference maker for Manchester United or for Lyon? And do you think that it will be Lyon to progress to the next round and end Manchester United's season? Or will Man United still have a season to salvage after tomorrow night's game? Let me know in the comment section down below. We'll be back again later on tonight. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So, do be sure to check back in here for that show, 8:30 p.m. tonight. And then after that, we'll have the match reaction for the Europa League tie tomorrow night, after all is said and done there. And we'll see whether we are still in the Europa League or not. As the title suggests, we lose and the season is done. So fingers crossed the season isn't done and there's still something to play for after tomorrow night. But anyways, I have Matt Smith here. Can you call him a prick? Matt Smith. If you are the same Matt Smith I'm thinking about, sir, you should have stayed in your little blue please box. You should have kept playing around with your erectile extendable wizard stick, or your sonic stick, whatever you want to call it. You should have carried on intermingling interspecies relations with aliens and probing your intergalactical friends, and stay zooming through your time vortex. In other words, your mother's wizard sleeve. And ultimately, you shouldn't have gone to a building site to stand with one Anthony Herbert without me not calling you a prick. Because you're a prick, Matt Smith. Let it be known. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and we'll see you later on tonight. Cheers, people. Cheers. We'll see you later.